People just have such a misconception of men from the very beginning coming to God. What brought them to God? What brought men to God before there was Moses and before there was the law and the tabernacle and everything? Faith. God came down to Noah, introduced himself to Noah and said, Noah, this is the sin on planet Earth has completely taken over. And I've had enough, and I'm going to deal with it. There's going to be a flood, and I need you to build a giant boat. Even to us today who look back at historically, so many just refuse to believe it. Well, put yourself in Noah's shoes. But it says Noah believed God. And God counted that as righteousness. Was Noah righteous? No. After the flood, Noah planted a vineyard, made wine, got drunk, did some terrible stuff. Noah was not righteous in himself. Noah believed God. God turned around and came to Abraham many, many years later and said, look, you're going to have a son. Man, I'm an ancient old geezer. I can't have a son. You're going to have a son, and your son is going to be the ancestor of the Messiah that I promised all the way back in Genesis 3:15. Your seed, your generations are going to be as the sands of the sea and the stars of the sky. Nobody will be able to count them. And it says simply, Abraham believed God. That's it. That's what he did. God said it. And Abraham looked at it and says, I have no evidence that this is true. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. This makes no sense whatsoever. But I believe God. I believe God. God came to Moses, told Moses some crazy stuff, and Moses simply believed God. And that's why he was able to do what he was able to do. And that's why God counted these men as righteous. If you read their lives through the book of Genesis, and you can say, man, these guys were worse than I am. They committed worse sins. Abraham did some really, really questionable stuff. But he was considered a friend of God. Why? Because without faith, it is impossible to please him. And Abraham exercised faith. He says, I'm just going to believe it. I'm just going to believe it.